Okay, it's we have started recording. And I don't know if anything else happens when I become host, but all right. Good morning here, good afternoon, wherever else you are. So today I'm going to start with my regular preamble that I start almost every class with, because I think they're the things that people need to know regardless of what we're studying. The first is that not all crystals like water. So just be really careful in how you clean your crystals. Smoke, sound, sunlight, moonlight, water for some, but there are some crystals that really disintegrate and fall apart if they've gotten wet. Something like a desert rose or selenite particularly, but there's a number of different crystals that don't like water. That's the first. The second is to remember that crystals are like perfume. They have certain frequencies that are innate to them, but when they mix with you, they will feel different to you, just like perfume smells different on me than it does, say, on Hannah or on Tessa or anyone else. So it's always to remember that. The other one is, there's two more, which is crystals are grounding. They come from the ground. And so if at any time, there's some crystals that are working with the higher faculties and the higher processes, but they can always be grounding. If you ever need to be grounded, you can grab any crystal and it can ground you if that's your intention. And then also remember that you can program any crystal for what you need it to do. I thought of an example today, which is citrine, which is naturally an energizing and an upbeat kind of stone. But if you need it to be calming, you can hold it and ask it for that energy, and it will provide what it can in that area. And then, as always trust yourself. If you read something and you then hold the stone and you go, this is not what it feels like to me, then you need to go with what it feels like to you. So that's my little preamble. And now we're going to get started. So we've been working on the lattice system. We have done, what did we do? Now that I remembered earlier, but I didn't write it down. Well, today we're going to be doing orthorhombic crystal lattice. And this is when three sides in the crystal are different lengths. So like a rectangle. So a rectangle has the short side, the long side, and the long side, and they're all different lengths. And so that's what makes orthorhombic crystals specific. That intersection is part of all of the crystals that I'll mention. It is part of those, it is part of that structure. That structure is to do with releasing of energy, of stuck energy. I see a picture. Hi, Tessa. So it has in the energy, it allows for internal workings in terms of getting rid of old patterns, helping with getting rid of old patterns, getting rid of old thoughts or beliefs. It can show up in a lot of different ways, but it's very much good for clearing, for cleansing, unstuck energy in yes, you guys know what I mean. It allows for energy to be able to be pushed through more easily. Oh, I did have one little tidbit before we totally get into orthorhombic. Sorry for the squirrel moment. I'm actually going to finish the orthorhombic and then I'll bring up the stones good for Mercury retrograde. So for orthorhombic, it is really to help with, and it can also help releasing if you're feeling like writer's block or a block in your creativity. It can also help unstick that. So these stones, I'm going to give a list of these stones, that it can be really good for that, for the creativity. I also pulled out a couple of the stones that I won't be working with today. And then I have stones that I was hoping, there it is. I thought maybe it'd help people to see the different stones. And I have a lot of stones, so I thought I'd share some of what I have. Hang on one second. I just remembered one other stone. I just got it. All right. Okay, so the stones that can help that are orthorhombic stones that can help with releasing and unblocking things. The first is something that I'd never really thought about as a crystal, but it is, which is abalone. And I thought that was really cool that it breaks down into that crystal structure. Alexandrite, angelite. Tessa, are you writing them down? Do you want me to go slow? Ish. Okay. Angelite, Argonite. And Argonite's really cool. It comes in blue Argonite. This is a tumbled one. Has a lovely soft, most of these stones have a lovely soft feeling, which I thought was interesting, in that their construction is to help unblock. But I think it's kind of like it soothes things through so that it can move out. And so this is Argonite. Argonite can also be these little crystals that are brown. And then when those are tumbled, they usually are brown and tan. And so Argonite comes in both blue and brown. So if someone says that's Argonite and you're looking at this little crystal thing, you're thinking, no, it's blue. There's both of them, and they look very different. They feel quite similar, but they look very different. So that's Argonite. Celestite. So here's a small piece of celestite that I just got recently. This is rough, obviously. A lot of celestite that you'll see will be rough because it has beautiful crystal formations, and all you see are my fingers. It has beautiful crystal formations in it. And so it's really good. And I'll talk about the different qualities. One of the things I know, celestite's really good for sleeping. And the stone that we're going to be working with today is Prionite. And that is also has it. So I will continue going on. So celestite, you saw crystal beryl, and then it showed a stone that we've worked with before that came under another heading, and I need to do some research, which is chrysocolla, which is what we did last week. And so I'm going to figure out why it comes under two different lattice systems. It may be that both are part of the structure, but that's some research that I need to do that I haven't done. And so I just need to do it. The next one is danburite. And it is this. I have only small pieces of it because it is, I'm sorry, this is dumberite. This is danburite. It's clear. It is, I have my earrings are made, earrings are of danburite. I love danburite. It is usually smaller, crystalline, sort of almost looks like clear quartz, but they usually come very square and has a very different feel than quartz. And then dumortierite, which is what this one is. And can you see the blue? Yeah, you can see a little bit of the blue. So it has blue in it. So it looks kind of like a super dark sodalite, but sodalite usually has some white. So this is, and this one feels quite different than sodalite. So that's Dumortierite, Dumortierite. And I probably butchered it. And then Hemimorphite, which is another one that I'm not familiar with. Iolite, which I considered doing, but I decided today not to do it. But it is beautiful. Actually, similar colors to the Dumortierite. And so this is Iolite. And this is a palm stone. Here's a rough tumble. And you can see some little tiny glitter bits in it. And so that's a rough tumble. Here's a smooth polish besides the palm stone. Again, you get this nice kind of dark gray blue coloring to it. It can go into purple. My palm stone has a little bit more sort of like indigo heading towards purple in it. And so this is another orthorhombic stone. Peridot, which we usually see as a cut gem, but it is also has a lovely healing aspect to it. And I have some rough peridot, but I didn't look for it. So Prionite, which is this beautiful green stone. You will see in the palm stone, you'll see little black threads in it, and that's epodite threads in it, not tourmaline. Somebody said to me like, oh, it's always tourmaline. It's not. Those are epodite threads in it. And they have a different, ones that have it and ones that don't have it have a slight different frequency to me. Tanzanite, which is the indigo blue stone, is prized. It cuts beautifully. It's a beautiful gemstone. I have some rough cherry Tanzanite, and I have some rough green Tanzanite, and I have like 4 little tiny pieces of gem Tanzanite, but not good enough quality to cut. Topaz is also part of the orthorhombic lattice structure, and then zoisite, which is that green and black combination, which a lot of people see. Zoisite comes with ruby mixed in it, and sometimes emerald. So those are the main stones that come with orthorhombic. And then you'll see when we're talking about Prionite, I'm going to hold it while we talk about it, how some of the lattice structure. So this is what I've written down is research that I've done from a bunch of different sources. And I look for the trends because each one of them had different ideas of what it is, but they had some trends, and those are the ones that I look for the most, is the trends that go with what people say. So, and then I've got one book, which I always check to see, I swear to God, she must have just made shit up, because nothing she says, it corresponds with anybody else. And it's completely off to me. They map maybe how she feels it, and I'm going to respect that. But when I read her book, I'm like, wow, I don't know where you got that, because that's not what I feel or what a conglomerate of people say about it. So this lovely stone has some wonderful physical, like treating physical things. And the first is that it can clear up stagnation in the system, which makes sense since one of the traits of orthorhombic crystals is to clear things out. So I was thinking about the digestive system, where sometimes the digestive system gets a little clogged, that this would be a good stone to work with, to try probably some coffee, and then also using the stone to try to move your system so that your system is moving more clearly and getting the blockages out. I also saw it as a detoxer. It's what it said. One of the places said it was a detoxing of the body, which also makes sense when you're looking at how orthorhombic is a cleanser and a cleaning and, you know, moving stuff out. I thought that was really an interesting combination to which I hadn't thought of before, but it makes total sense. And then also, which I hadn't heard before, but I'm going to try it and then I'll let you know. It's good at healing bruises. And I tend to bruise really easily. They go away quickly, but I do bruise easily. And so next time I find a bruise, I'm going to see if I rub it with the Prionite to see if it goes away quicker or if it doesn't hurt. So I'll get back to you on that one, but that's one of the things that I read about and researched. Now, this is more about where I felt it. So looking at the Psyche, sort of like the psychological kind of aspects of oneself, it's good for clearing up mental noise. And if you have, if you have thoughts that just keep going and keep going, this is a really good stone to help clarify that, to just sort of clear that out. Someone said, one of the books said it was really good for sleeping, but it makes sense because most of the time when we can't sleep, we are laying there thinking about a bunch of unnecessary noise. And that then if you're working with it, then it will help you sleep because it is clearing out the worries, it's clearing out the noise, it's stopping that sort of negative aspects from sort of invading you. It eases worries and it helps you think differently. So it blocks it. If you're thinking about blockages and like a worry gets in and it kind of ruminates around and around and around and you need it to stop and you needed to get it out, then this would be a great stone for that because it's going to stop that and it's going to allow it to move out. It also helps with warding off nightmares, and it helps with taking acceptance. So in the process of cleansing, you have to have something that takes its place. Nature abhors a vacuum. So every time that there's a vacuum in our personal development, in our personal life, when we get rid of something, there's a vacuum. And so we need to make sure that what we're putting into that is something that is solid and something that is useful for our how we work. And so this is an amazing stone for this, where it will, when you're working on some of those things, it really will help you, give you the space to put in what you need to put in that vacuum. So it is this light green in color, and part of the chakras that it works with is the solar system, the heart chakra, and the third eye. It does have a very fine, it can have a very fine and higher kind of connection. So when you work with it, it can be very uplifting, kind of move you up if you're kind of stuck, which again goes back to the orthorhombic structure. If you're feeling kind of stuck and you need to rise up, you need to engage at a higher level, this is a great stone for that. And okay, where emotional things are concerned, it's also the color itself gives away the unconditional love. It's super good at keeping, if you're thinking about an emotional situation in a unhealthy way, it's a really good stone to shift that, to move that basis so that it is healthier, and it is allows you to have that unconditional love that naturally goes with the color and with the stone. It helps clear out painful memories and supports the new ones, which is pretty much what I just said. But it also, one of the things about the positive aspects that it can bring in, it can be the love of self, it can be the love of family, and it can be the love of a lover. Like rose quartz is very much to do with unconditional love. Rhodonite is very much to do with more romantic. So this is to do with any kind of love, love of family, love of friends. And if you have if there's issues going on and you need to change how you think about something, or you need to set good boundaries so that you can stop things from coming in, this is a great stone to work with. It's because it is you're unblocking your mental and emotional and psyche to say, okay, this is what I need to work on. And it'll help move out some of the stuff that you're getting rid of to give you the space to build what you need to put in place. Again, when there's that vacuum, if you don't put something in place consciously, it'll get filled up with whatever's around. At a spiritual level. So I read something this morning when I was preparing, and oh my God, it resonated so much, which is the wounded healer. And so all of us carry wounds from life, from existence. And I'm a healer, and I've been doing healing work for a long time. It has sort of been like, okay, I'm working with people, but I still have a lot of work to do on myself. I have a lot of personal growth and personal development in order to keep moving forward. But I also want to help people, and I have tools and skills that can help people. So I've always had this sort of little bit of a dichotomy where I still have wounds. Who am I to say this is what will work or this can work? And this was saying that it said that this stone helps you while you're helping other people. And it just rang so true. It was like a bell. And I thought, that's not only just because of Prionite and the frequency that comes with it, but in life, just knowing that you can be a healer and still be wounded. You can, you need to take care, you need to put boundaries up, not to wound someone else or put your wounds project onto someone. But it's really, yeah, I thought that was such an amazing, I just thought it was such an amazing point where it is that wounded healer. So it's good. I think, to me, sort of going forward, I think when I put together my healing kits and when I'm working with people, what I will do is I'll keep a small piece of Prionite on me. And Tessa, it just looked like you had like a dog head thing on, like a hat, like a dog hat on there for a moment. So I just thought that was really cool, because we're all wounded, and in many ways we're all wounded healers, trying to heal and trying to help other people. It can really also, this backtrack just a touch, it can help clean out very painful memories and support new memories coming in. So if there's been trauma, for the trauma that's happened in people's lives, this is a good stone to work with if you're working to move some of those memories out and to start to either see it in a different way or build new memories. And I just thought that was really interesting because it stays in line with the lattice work, stays in line with the color, which is part of the effect of it. And it stays in line with the feel of the stone. And I hope, I don't know, but I hope the reason I do work with one stone is I want people to kind of get a feel, even if they don't have that stone, to get a feel for it, so that when you pick up some green stone in a gem shop and you're like, oh, you know what? I actually know what this is. This is Prionite, and they'll be all impressed. But it has a certain frequency, and I do hope that when we're working with one single crystal, that frequency comes across, is able to travel to each person. One of the other amazing aspects of this is it helps you in prioritizing your needs, or AKA helping you get your shit together. So if it's the kind of stone that you can do a list with, and it'll help move out the things that are blocking you to do those to do what it is that you need to do. And it'll help integrate hidden, like the lessons that we need to learn that we don't always realize we need to learn. This will help you learn them by connecting to the universe. Like I said, there's a very high aspect to this stone. It's not just, a lot of what we've been talking about is pretty much based in the body, but it has the feel of connecting to very high realms and to the universe, creation, God, goddesses, however it works for you. One of the magic parts of this stone is the fact that it can do all this stuff that's pretty base. I know emotions and mental it's part of your aura, it's part of your life, it's part of your frequency, and it's in your blood and all of that. But this stone also has that possibility of reaching higher, to a higher realm or realms, and sort of help you, pick you up. It's like go up a level, move up a notch, and it'll help with that. And then it's also a really good stone if you are in sort of like a feng shui kind of way, is it's really good to help you declutter and also to let go of stuff. So if you have to go through a pile in your closet, like I do, I'm thinking that I might take my palm stone, because I'm a terrible person of getting rid of things. And I might go and see if I can get rid of more, because I've got this stone that wants things to be clean. It wants things to be clear, to be cleansed, because the universe can't connect if it's fussy and messy, and it's more difficult. It's not that it can't, it just makes it more difficult, which is why in a lot of our craft, they talk about cleansing your space, is so that higher things can be a part of that. And this stone can help. It can help you let go of stuff that you need to let go of, which I thought was really super cool. And I'll be using it today. Do you guys have any questions at this point? Come on. Come on, guys, please work with me. So then I'm going to backtrack because I didn't go into it. Mercury retrograde. So we are in the beginning start of Mercury retrograde. It's been powered by the fact that we had a full moon as it transitioned. So if you've had trouble That's probably why. And I've had a lot of trouble, and I'm pretty sure that that combination of the full moon and the Mercury retrograde is part of it. So there's a couple stones that made a lot of sense to me. And the first is amethyst. And that's because amethyst, besides being really good for self-discipline, it's also really good for stress, reducing stress. And it's also a good stone that you can wear and take a shower, and it's okay with water, so you don't need to stress out if it gets wet. But it's a good stone for that that stress that comes with the Mercury retrograde. Blue lace agate's another one. And what comes with that is to help accept the situation as it is and to stay calm. One of the major features of blue lace agate is to help you if you're angry. If you have anger issues, or if you have that's something that's been a part of your life, blue lace agate is a really great stone to negate that, and it helps calm that down. And then selenite, because that's the cleaning stone, it cleanses. And so part of Mercury retrograde is you have to take things slowly, and you have to take things as clean as possible, about being as tidy and as clean as possible, taking that extra time. That's how you make it through. Because if you try and rush, especially with technology, but a lot of even communication, because Mercury has a lot to do with communication. And another point about blue lace agate is that it helps you speak. Being blue, it comes to the throat chakra. It also talks about speaking your truth. Adventuring is another one, and it is for good luck, which can be very useful when you're dealing with a planetary presence that is causing stress and not such great luck. So adventuring is a stone that can kind of balance it out and make it more even. And then the last one is carnelian. And carnelian is a strengthening and a steady stone. It's an upbeat stone. It helps with creativity and part of your core. And so I felt that, and I feel that those are some stones that might help with Mercury retrograde. I have a few ideas to research some stuff more into it. I did a little bit of research into it, and a lot of the stones that people were recommending, first of all, I looked up 4 different places, and they all had, with the exception of amethyst, they all had different ideas. And so I was like, I'm going to go with what I know stones can do. And that's why I'm giving out these particular stones. I'm going to research, because next week we will still be in Mercury retrograde. And I'm going to do some research to see which stones are ruled by Mercury. And then I'm going to do a little bit of work to see if those stones that are supposed to work with Mercury, do they pick up on, or the stones that are ruled by Mercury, do they pick up on the retrograde, or do they balance it out? So I'm going to check and see, and I will let you guys know next time. I may update the stones that go with Mercury retrograde. But I just thought, yeah, blue lace agate, amethyst, those are the 2 that really just were like, yes, absolutely. Now, it's really 40 minutes. I really blazed through this. So someone needs to come up with a good question, not a good question, any kind of question about anything on the whole planet. Oh, that's not gonna work. Yes.
So yesterday I visited my aunt and she actually gave me some crystals, which is pretty cool. I guess this is my first time like getting crystals. So I do have like this amethyst palm stone.
Yeah. Nice.
But I was wondering about this clear one. I'm not sure if it's clear
just
quartz.
Absolutely, the master healer.
Okay. Yeah, could you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
Clear quartz.
So first of all, both of those can be washed, can be put under water. Okay. So when you receive stones, you should probably wash them so they then start to pick up on your frequency. Okay. The clear quartz is it's the best. It can be programmed for absolutely anything because it's clear and it amplifies anything. So if you have your amethyst and then you're holding the clear quartz, the frequency from the amethyst is going to be amplified. So it's an amplifier. Okay. Now, there's a catch to anything that's an amplifier. If you're pissed off and you're holding it, it may amplify what's going through you unless you have. So the great thing about clear quartz is it's either easy to program, and program meaning put your intention in it, however, I haven't come up with a better word than program. I'm sure there is a better word. I haven't come up with it. But when you hold it and then you clean it, however you clean it, put it through incense, put it under the tap, put some spring water and put it in the water, whatever works. Both of those can be cleaned any way you want. And then you hold it in your palm and you then ritualize or program or put into the stone what you need it to do for you. So if you're in a place where what you need is to be able to have a lot of energy, for example, and you're feeling tired, you can put into it the energy. What's most needed is energy. See yourself when you're energetic. I don't know if that's the case. That was just the example that came up in me. And so you hold it, you put into it that's what you need, and then you keep it with you, and it will radiate that until you'll feel it. You'll feel like, oh gosh, I need to clean it. I need to clean it again. It'll have it'll have a fuzzy feeling to it. That's the only way I can think about it. And those are amazing gifts. Those are awesome. And that clear quartz heart is just cute as fuck. That's really sweet.
Yeah, I got 2 of them actually.
Oh, cool. So, I mean, in that sense, you can hold them in both hands. You can wash them and hold them in both hands. Or if you need each one to do something different, if you need, if you're finding that your temper's a little bit more feisty than usual, but Mercury retrograde seems to do that to people, which is why you hear so many people like, I'm going to throw my computer out the window. It is, I can feel it. So I know I'm not alone. I know that is one of the feelings. So if that's one of the things that you're working on and then you need energy, then you can program them each for the things that you need it to do. And you can meditate with both of them. They are, when they're clean, you will pick up, they're open to anything. They're the blank sheet in a sense. Naturally, they have sort of like the amplifying and the clear, they're clearing stuff out. If you think about, because they're clear, they're like clearing stuff out. They are good at moving stuff through your system. But yeah, clear quartz is what, it's the one that I avoid talking about because there's so many things about it. And I usually talk about ones that are more not unique, because they're all unique. Every stone is unique, but ones that people may not necessarily have, so that then when they go to a rock store, they can go, I need some Prionite and I need some Boule agate. And then they can help you. So, but yeah, clear quartz is the most amazing stones of all, a stone of all of them.
Cool.
It is one of the most common crystals on the planet. Every country has clear quartz. Comes from it. We have it in Colorado. I'll actually be doing a rock hounding trip. Are you in Colorado?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. I'm going to be doing a rock hounding trip where we're going to go and find hopefully some amethyst and some rose quartz up by Red Feather Lakes up in Fort Collins. But most likely we might actually find clear quartz as well. And clear quartz comes clear like those are, but it also can come white, looking white. So just so you, like if someone says, oh, and rose quartz can be so light, it looks white. It's a frequency thing at that point when you're dealing with the cloudy, it's not clear. But yeah, so that's, but the amethyst is really good for what's going on right now. Because we're dealing with, you know, the harvest moon is one of the strongest moons of the year, the harvest moon and the one in March, the Ides of March. And so we're dealing with that along with Mercury. So I think it really powered it, because people I know who are not into astrology or anything magic are having trouble with their computers. So they roll their eyes.
I actually have a flight tomorrow morning.
So just be, so you have to do what you have to do. It's already in motion. Just make sure that you get there early. If there's delays, don't get uptight. It'll all work out. Mercury retrograde does not mean that it's a stopper. It just means it's slowing down so much that it looks like it's going backwards from the planet. So it is not that it's not a stopper. It just means you have to slow down. I'm an Aries. I'm not great at that sort of like, oh, you know, maybe I should have saved this after the second time of having lost my information, but no, I didn't. But it's that sort of, it is that time when it's just going slower. So just be extra careful in terms of just being a little bit more. If you're normally a little early, then just make sure that you are normally you stay a little early. If you get stressed out, just know that it's probably not you, is that it's all around. And then you just keep your calm, you keep your cool, and things will be fine. It's not, you know, and so much, you know, you've got the clear quartz ones. So then you can say safety and travel for one of them, and patience, because whenever you fly, you need patience.
Right.
Or if you're afraid of flying, then you can program into it being strong and being calm and not being overwhelmed. For me, the problem with flying is that there's lots of people, and I'm not a people-y person. I like you, one person, a couple people, but I don't like, you know, milling people. And so,
I'm with you.
And so I would program in, you know, that sort of patience and the calmness that comes when you're alone, so that when you're there, you can stay intact. and that you can, and then of course, whatever kind of shielding, personal shielding that you do, however that works for you, to make sure that you do it strongly and that you do it knowing that you're going to travel, because that traveling, if you're going home or you're going to visit someone, when you travel, your body, the electrical lines that you have in your home, they not break, but they get thinner. So you feel not as home. Like that feeling when you come home from a trip and you go, oh, thank God. That feeling is you coming back to you. So traveling can be very ungrounding. So you can also put one of those. And like I said, the amethyst is also really good at sort of clear cut things, keeping things clear cut. It's known as the sobriety stone. And I think of it more as a self-discipline stone. So it helps you hold to your self-discipline. So if you know how you need to be, and then whether you write it out or think it out, however works for you, then power that stone in your hand while you're doing the processes that you are getting ready. So that then you have your 3 crystals in your stone. They don't set off alarms, so you can put them in your pockets and you don't have to worry about anything. I travel with my wrist full of bracelets, and I had one asshole make me take them off, but I don't take it off. I just walk through, and I don't buzz. So just so you know, you can put them in your pockets and tootle along and you'll be fine. You'll do well.
Okay.
So
Cool.
does that help a little bit?
Yeah.
Cool.
I also wanted to ask about so the different crystal lattices. I actually took a geology class. I don't know if it was last year or the year before, so I definitely learned about that. I actually have my notes right here.
Oh, cool.
From that. And so I like I said, I'm new to actually like all of this. So I had no idea that those different crystal like lattices and construction could like had an effect on what they can do or what they can be used for.
Well, I mean, but it makes sense, right? When you think about it. And you think about what different crystals. So here's a couple of things. If you're new, here's a couple of things. The first is quartz crystals used in everything. It's used in everything, in computers and watches and all kinds of things. And so, but you can't use it in, okay, so here's a kyanite is used in spark plugs. Now you can't use quartz for the spark plugs. You need that, whatever the mineral and crystal compound combination, you need that for spark plugs, and it comes in kyanite. And I'm learning lots of things about how different kinds of crystals are used in day-to-day stuff, because I think that really helps all of us kind of grasp how embedded crystals are in our culture, because it's connected to so many different things. And so there's that kind of I mean, like more like I heard somewhere like a couple more things that clear crystal was part of, and I was like, I would have never thought. I mean, who would have thought a crystal would be part of a spark plug? You know, these are not new spark. We're not talking about the Tesla kind of cars. We're talking about older cars that have the old, well, I used to change my spark plugs, but the little spark plugs, those old ones, and I have a 2004, so it has old spark plugs. That has kyanite in it. And it's like, oh my God, that's so cool. I get super excited. And whenever I'm not well in myself, I just play with my crystals and just touch them and resort them out and do that kind of thing. And it brings me back to me because it's what clicks with me. But I might be contacting you for help on the lattices, because this lattice information is new stuff for me. It's not my strength.
Okay.
But I just figured out, so this is the third class I've done on lattice work. And I just figured out when they talk about lattices, what they're talking about is the connection point, not the whole. I was thinking it was the whole cube or the whole rectangle.
Right.
And it's not. It's talking about that connection point between the different lines in that crystal. So yes, they use for orthorhombic crystals, they use a picture of a rectangle, but that doesn't mean it's always going to be a rectangle. It means that there's always going to be 3 lines that are different, because that's what makes an orthorhombic connection. So I just figured this out today, by the way. And I was like, oh, it's the connection point, not the full structure.
Right.
So yeah, but and then if anything comes up, you're welcome to message me. Hannah has done that a couple times. Miss Hannah has. She's like, what's this good for? And yeah, so I'm thank you
Okay.
for the questions. That was really awesome. That moved things
Sure.
forward. And if I run into some serious, what? How does this work? I might be.
You guys want to see my new
what?
my new workspace?
Yes.
Okay, hold on. I was hoping I would get home before class was over. Well, let me turn it around. This is my new house. Is it gonna let it go? How do I take this off? I don't know how to take that part off, guys.
So we're still just saying the grid. Okay, cool. Hi, new house. Welcome.
And this is the altar. It's not really done.
Oh, cool. That's beautiful fabric.
This is my desk.
Oh, oh, look at all the moons.
I've gone so far. I'm
Oh
still
my
at the
God.
part right here, guys. The tumbles aren't out yet. And then this is the cannabis consumption area. And this is my guitar. So it's not done yet, but Rain Faye painted that and gave it to me as a gift at the first place at the first Blessed Bacchanal I attended.
Oh, cool. That's lovely.
So what do you guys think?
It's beautiful.
It's big,
Yeah,
huh?
that's cool.
Yeah, it's big.
Of course, my kids,
Yep, I do
they
know.
like to come.
And
They're attracted to the crystals.
my kid wears bracelets, and he's in middle school, and all of his friends are like, oh, where'd you get the bracelet? And he's like, he came home and he goes, Mom, can I tell him that you make them? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, well, how much are they? We want them. So there's going to be this middle school with all these kids wearing bracelets.
These are little pacifiers that my 17-year-old made.
Oh, cool.
And these are you see my supplies. I love these. These are one of my favorite products that I have. Because you can cleanse the whole house just walking around like that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to show you
Beautiful.
guys.
It's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. That's lovely. I would love a space that big.
I know, right?
I just
So
have,
excited about
I just have my room. And so my room is covered with crystals. Which, and that's my room.
Well, I think my husband had an ulterior motive for supplying me such a big space. And so hopefully like my stuff doesn't
ooze around
get
the house.
everywhere all over the house like it was in the last house, because I literally had inventory crates everywhere.
That's beautiful,
Not
Hannah. Thank
happening
you.
again.
Thank you so
You
much.
hear my son?
sharing.
That's not happening again. Yeah, they definitely have ulterior motives for supplying me my space so they don't have to be surrounded by my things.
Well, that's okay. That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing, honey. That was awesome.
All right, guys.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Tessa, thank you and good travels. Stay safe. I'll be thinking
Thank
about
you.
you.
Appreciate it.
And then we'll be on next week. And I look forward to seeing everybody then. 12
Thank you.
o'clock, 1
Thank
hour.
you, Kristen.
Woo! Yes.
Thank you.
Oh, I thought you said yes. Yes, thank you guys. You guys take care. I'm going to head out, which will shut it down.